Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are you aware if any EPA employees within Region 10 had come to the conclusion that EPA should use a Section 404C of the Clean Water Act before EPA had produced any science with regard to the impact of the Pebble project?
So as I stated earlier, there were various opinions amongst the staff members, some who felt that beginning a 404C process, which is a pretty extensive process in itself, would be appropriate. There were others that felt that we should wait until a permit application was submitted to the Corps, and we ultimately decided to take a middle path, which was conducting a scientific review under our authorities, our Section 104 of the Clean Water Act.
Let me draw your attention to the what Mr. North said in his deposition, his testimony. If you'll look at that slide to your right or left, or you may be able to see it there. He says, as you stated before, you had formulated your opinion on, and this is our questions to Mr. North, your opinion on whether EPA should use Section 404C for the Pebble mine before a scientific document was prepared by the EPA, right? And Mr. North testified yes. I've got another slide I want to bring up. According to the documents obtained by the committee, EPA employee Phil North began preparing a record to base a preemptive 404C action on as early as 2009. In an email exchange from December 2009, before EPA received any petitions for action, Mr. North exchanged emails with EPA employee Mary Theising. Ms. Theising told Mr. North, approach it as though there will be a 404C and we don't need to wait for a new regional administrator, a new RA. To do that, however, we will be getting one very quickly, and there will be no 404C without the RA's complete, total, and most importantly, continued buy-in. Administrator McLerran, this email appears to lay out the playbook for initiating a preemptive 404C action against the Pebble mine. Is it troubling that EPA employees appear to have made up their minds on stopping the Pebble mine so early in the process? Does that bother you?
So again, as I stated, there were employees with various opinions.
Now, I'm asking you, does that bother you? I'm not asking you about the opinion of the EPA employees. I'm asking you, does it bother you that it appears that these people had already made up their minds with no scientific evidence?
So it's the
a
job,
yes or no.
It's the job of EPA employees to
No,
look
sir. It's a yes or no. Does that bother you?
I would hesitate to, give you a conclusion based on just this.
No, I'm asking you, let me be hypothetical. Would it bother you if EPA employees were acting preemptively without scientific data, without doing the due diligence to go ahead and deny someone a permit? Would that bother you?
So it would bother me if
Thank you.
we didn't have the checks and balances.
Let me read something else from that email that bothers me. It goes on to say, we will be prepared to give the RA a suggested direction when she comes on board. This thing will be developing for years, and we aren't likely to get RA support or headquarters support for preemptive 404C on a project this big before the information is developed. Now, that really bothers me because that tells me that they fully understood what they were doing. They were fully aware that if they didn't act preemptively, that the new RA or headquarters wouldn't agree on a preemptive 404C without the scientific data, without the due diligence on a project that big. Does that bother you?
So again, exactly what we did is we engaged in an extensive scientific review. We did not invoke 404C without engaging in the science.
Well, it says right here that they wanted to move this on this project before the information was developed. It seems that the playbook is laid out in this email. It has less to do with establishing the actual science and impacts of a project and conducting objective analysis, and more to do about appealing to politics and optics to achieve a certain outcome at the EPA. Is that, in your opinion, would that be the correct way for an agency to make a decision?
No, but I don't believe that's what occurred here.
Well, I think that that's what the evidence seems to indicate. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.